Hello, losers. This is raw, uncut, unedited footage. Yeah. You know, goo goo gaga. Yeah. Alright. What your favorite sport says about you. I'm gonna go for the most mainstream sports, at least for the ones that I can remember. And then I'm gonna go towards more of the niche ones. And just try to go for that. Well, anyway, um, excuse me for the fart. Ugh. Anyway, all right. Let's start off with the most mainstream one, at least from an American point of view. Gridiron football or American football, or as us Americans tend to just call it, football. It is like you might not say the best sport ever or something, but it's a very mainstream sport. Um, I'm not gonna really like you if you're a quarterback. Now, it's not to say that there wasn't any good quarterbacks, or if you're a quarterback, you're not a good person. I'm just saying for the quarterbacks that I've met, they generally were pretty nasty. Well, at least back when I was in school. Whereas now, as me as an adult, it's like for the quarterbacks I played, they're kind of alright, but it's usually just like probably because they played so many games every day that they just kind of like wander off, you know? I don't know, maybe they're thinking about maybe I should kiss the lineback's butt. You know, I don't know. Alright. I don't know, there's not a lot to say here other than it's a really popular sport. And if you're into it, if you're a big fan of it, like if you're a player of it, I'm glad for you, man. Like at least you're doing something, you know. Like if you can't really get yourself into anywhere, I can't deny you that. I can't deny you that game, man. Like it is what it is, you know. And yeah, you're pretty much good people as long as you let yourselves be. Anyway, on to the next sport, basketball. Oh my god, where do I start here? Where do I start here? Oh, I know. Why you guys, especially like when it comes to middle school or elementary basketball players, not necessarily high school because it does start to wear off, but you do get a few cockroaches every now and again. Why are they so cocky all the time? Like whenever they get good, they could literally just be like a person who only scored like one pointer and I'm the best because I made dunk at school game at uh 5 p.m. at this one game the whole year. Yeah, I'm the best. Like, what? Why you gotta be so cocky about it? Like, I can understand if you're like, oh yeah, I'm good at it. It's my favorite sport. Yada yada yada. But it's like, dude, what the fuck made you think that I'm gonna give a crap when you keep talking about it like that? Like, I am a sports fan. I kind of always have been, but why are you so like where did you get your cockiness from? Did just somebody come along and be like, hey, you gotta be cocky all day? Probably not, but I just mean like, that's how they act. That's that kind of thing. And it gets annoying and whatever, but it does, like I said, wear off when they get into high school, although there is a few that just don't give that up. And usually they're the stars, unfortunately. I'm like, I understand that you're good at the game, but it's like, bro, you're playing in like middle school, high school. You should not be bragging about me dribbling balls, especially those college guys, because they get a little extra more cockiness, but then they usually wear it off if they ever go pro or if they just get used to it. But still, when you get into that middle school range, boy, do they get cocky. Or elementary range, yeah, cocky. And then there's baseball. Baseball, it's like, you could play it, but you don't know everybody who plays it. But for the people who do, normally, unless they're the coach or like maybe a star player, uh, they're generally pretty cool, you know? Like, they don't really try to attack you or argue against you, you know? They just like, hey, you want to play some baseball? No, that's fine, you know? Generally, they're pretty chill. Not always. Not always. There are some people, there are some loose ones, you know, sometimes, but, you know, you'll be good. You'll be good. And then there's volleyball or volleyball. Uh, for the schools and the places I've seen for volleyball to be played, it's almost exclusively a woman's sport, at least from the ones I've seen. And volleyball girls are not the nicest people. They are like, they are like, that's the sport that a lot of, what do you call them, Hello Kitty girls play. Like, it's not to offend people, like women that are Hello Kitty girls. It's just, if you know anything about the stereotypical Hello Kitty girl, yeah, that's basically what my school got. They basically turned the stereotype into a reality. Like, that's what it was like. But yeah, it just kind of sucked. It really did. Like, they just, I don't know. They're like they'll sometimes be really angry, but then poof, they're gone for a week, you know? But it's whatever, you know? Alright. What else is there? There's wrestling. Now, there were wrestling kids, but, like, you never really knew that there was wrestling kids unless they told you, you know? Although I did kind of figure out that there was this one kid who was a wrestling kid because he was going into a wrestling competition. I was not aware that they were having it during school hours at the time. And my boy, they, oh my god, they cooked him. Look how they massacred my boy, okay? Like, they freaking wham him, that one man, alright? Like, they just straight up hit him on his head, okay? Like, it was not a pretty sight to see. But yeah, there's not a lot I can really say for wrestling because there wasn't a lot of players. All right, and then there was Ultimate Frisbee, but Ultimate Frisbee never had any like clubs or anything like that. It was just kind of, if you played it, you played it. If you liked it, you liked it. Same thing with Gaga Ball. If you were into Gaga Ball, you were into Gaga Ball, and that was that. You know, same thing with floorball and a couple of other sports like tag. You know. Then there was soccer, but we didn't. My school, because we were a K-12 school, which means kindergarten through 12th grade all in the same school, although the elementary, middle school, and high school were in separate parts of the school, so they didn't have to automatically connect with each other whenever somebody did this or that, you know? That kind of thing. So they had the school portion, the high school portion, and then they had the elementary portion, and then the elementary portion was almost completely blocked off from the rest of the school for safety reasons. But outside of that, it's pretty normal. So, yeah. Anyway, let's move on. There was cricket. Now, there were kids who played it, but there was no, like, teams or anything like that. It was just a couple of people who are, like, really into baseball and like, hey, let's play a couple of games of cricket. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we did, and that's how that worked. And then there was also bowling, but I never really got into that too much. I did play a few games, but that was it. That was really it. At least at school. But it wasn't like real bowling. It was just like that plastic fake toy bowling. Kind of. Like it looked like a real bowling ball, but it was made out of like that fake plastic. Like it wasn't even real plastic, which is kind of fake already, but it was like not even legit plastic. It was just off-brand juicer thing. And then there was cornhole, but I wasn't even aware cornhole was a sport, which it is, but I didn't really know because it was just so common. Anyway, let's see, keep going. Handball. Oh boy, that was a strange one because it's similar in a way to basketball, except that it's like unlike basketball where you score like 2 3-pointers or two 2 pointers and 3 pointers. In handball, it's like if basketball was only allowed to score 1 pointers. That's basically what it's like, but unlike where you go into a net that's like a a hoop, you go into a net that's more of like a giant fishing net of some sort, you know? That kind of thing. And it was a big one. Big one. Um there wasn't a lot of people who played it, but if you played it, they knew you played it. They weren't like toxic or anything. It was a very new sport, and they were putting it a lot into the school that we went to because I don't know, money, I guess. I have no clue, bro. It was just whatever, and then there was like a couple other sports like swimming and whatnot, but it was more for like high school, those kind of things like fencing or whatever. And it was like, oh, we're gonna do a bunch of training on you, and if you get into college or pro, we're gonna try and put you into this or this or this. And then the only other sport that they did play was either tag or flag football, I guess I should say. Running and track, that kind of thing. And then there was kind of cheerleading, but I don't really know how cheerleading is a sport. I think it's just more of like a supportive. Oh, we're here this way. Ah, no, 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 no. But it's whatever, man. Let's see. What's the last one? Last one shall be what? Oh yeah, that's right. Tug of war. Tug of war. Yeah, I've done a lot of those. I've played a lot of tug of war. They're only really toxic if they're like not necessarily to mean to be like sexist, but I just mean like if they're an older woman, not necessarily like teacher older. I just mean like if they're a grade or two above you, they'll get like really cocky about it. But me, I was really into um like playing tug of war, and well, I tell you something right now. I played a game with that one lady I told you about, who's oh this cocky this that that person. Um, I played a game of tug of war with her, and let's get this straight. All I did was one pull, and she went, huh? you know? towards me, you know? And she's like, well, never doing that again. Like, lady, I gave you a warning. I don't know why. I warned you beforehand. I don't know why you thought you were gonna win against me at that time, you know? Like, I'm a bit weaker than I was before. However, I'm nowhere near as weak as when I was a baby. But I just mean, like, you know, I'm not I'm not constantly doing tug of war is what I mean. So, yeah. Although I do have a strong grip because of it, so I be careful when I touch things with my hands. You know, like I have to be careful because I got a bit of a strong grip. I'm not like Hulk strong or anything like that. I just mean like sometimes I have to worry about it because a lot more than a regular person. Not like super a lot, just like sometimes a lot. You know, compared to a regular person. But outside of that, yeah, usually tug of war people are pretty chill because they usually deal with a lot of crap anyway. But hey, it's tug of war, you know. That's about that. Anyway, I shall probably see you later, and just remember, stay ugly.